Now, wealth is largely a function of the wages that we earn. How much wealth we get, how much income. It's largely a function of the wages that we earn, and the wages that we earn are predominantly a function of the growth rate of the economy. Now, money markets, to me, money markets are a component of the economy which provides short-term loans, generally for a period or less than or equal to 365 days. As money became a commodity, the money market became a component of the financial market for assets involved in short-term borrowing. Short-term borrowing. Lending, buying, and selling with original maturities of 1 year or less. Trading in money markets is done over the counter and it's wholesale. Short-term loans, short-term borrowing. So examples of money market instruments are A, treasury bills, B, commercial paper, 3, bankers' acceptances, 4, deposits, certificates of deposit, bills of exchange, repurchase agreements, federal funds, short-lived mortgages, asset-based securities, money markets which provide liquidity for the global financial system, including for capital markets, are part of the broader system of financial markets. So money markets is situated up inside financial markets, and what in the goddamn fuck is a banker's acceptance, and what the fuck is a repurchase agreement? I'll find that out next time for you. So there's a bit of a cliffhanger. And then deposits, so examples of money market instruments are treasury bills, commercial paper, bankers' acceptances, deposits, certificates of deposit, bills of exchange, repurchase. Is that money? Bills of exchange, cash? That's a money market instrument. Cash is, and then deposit. Is that different than cash? So deposit, demand deposits. I think you need to pull, hey, Amerika, let me give you a heads up. This is bad. We're in a recession right now. The economy is fucking crashing. $2.2 trillion didn't do fucking shit. All the shit, they lowered of the interest rates, the huge stimulus bill. The markets are still not correcting. Unemployment, it's 6.6 million unemployment claims. That's just people that have claimed. That's just the official. So that means, no telling how many unemployed there are in America total. But 6.6 million in the last 2 weeks, that's more than the first 6 months of the Great Recession. So we've already seen this is going to hit harder than the Great Recession. And it's different. This is totally different. Coronavirus is going to hit harder than the Lehman Brothers, right? Just one bank went bankrupt. That's the cause of the fucking Great Recession. The Lehman Brothers went bankrupt, freaked everybody out, all the banks, and they got, their beak wet. Make sure they got their gravy at the pig trough of the United States public treasury, our money. So money markets, apparently demand deposits, the money you put in a bank is a tool. It's an instrument. It's a money market instrument tool that these globalists, these one world globalists, so pull your money out of the banks and stocks. Stockpile all that you can, food, water. Put your money underneath your mattress. Do not give it to the fucking banks. Do not trust these fucking crooks. Save up on toilet paper, cigarettes, marijuana, and gold, silver, diamonds, and platinum, and rubies, and palladium. Don't forget to stock up on your palladiums. So, yeah, that's demand deposits. I believe when you give your money to the bank, it's the fucking banks. I think it's what I keep reading, is that you sign all that fucking paperwork. A demand deposit, they say, is a bank liability, meaning it's a debt they got to repay. And so that money is a loan. You're actually giving a loan to that bank. You can hold on to it, and then I can demand it at will. For the most part, sometimes you can only demand 10% of your deposit. But I believe that money is theirs because they take all that money and they reinvest it, right? So your $100, they have to keep 10% of it. They take the $90 and then they give out loans, and it becomes, automatically 90% of it becomes debt as soon as you give it to the bank. That's why when you walk through banks, it just feels very, very eerie. That's why banks are just awful places to go. It's like Erie, Indiana. It's like, I don't know. It's just rich and huge halls, and then the teller, they don't know what the hell, is going on. Did I hear something? How much time? How much power? I only had 29%. Okay. So yeah, pull your money out of the banks, and it's a recession, so make sure you get your money out of stocks and bonds and wait for it to bottom out, and then buy the stocks. They're saying corporations can't do buybacks because that's what they would do. They would let their fucking company crash and burn, and then once everybody, sells their stock for dirt cheap, they'll rebuy their stock, and now they own their company even more. There's a distinction I want to make between, money, right? So there's basically two kinds of money in America. You have your cash money that's in circulation in everybody's hands, and then there's the bank deposits. The more I think about it, the more I hate this thought, because you give them $100, they got to save $10 in the Federal Reserve Bank of there, so they got to take that money and transfer it. So they take your $100, they take 90 of it, and they give it out in loans to try to make money or invest or buy what the fuck ever it is that they're doing with your goddamn money. The multiplier effect. Some fucking creative accounting shenanigans, some kind of fraud. But bank deposits could just be electronic data. It could just be information on a computer screen. You get that money, the actual cash. $90 of the cash is, given out for a loan or used as collateral to back a loan for others or something. I don't know exactly how. I think, that cash is given out. So $90 is given out, and then the $10 is going to the Federal Reserve, so none of your money is actually in that bank. But if the bank deposit is just an entry in the bank, all the money is gone, then that means not only is the dollar bill not even backed up by gold, it's not even backed up by the paper that it's printed on. It's not even worth the printer, it's not even backed by, because it's not printed on any paper. So the free-floating fiat Federal Reserve note isn't even worth the paper. It's no longer printed on. 70% of the U.S. economy is already electronic anyways. I think. That's what I heard. So this $2.2 trillion quantitative easing scandal, QE for short, this quantitative easing scandal, $6 trillion, Wall Street bailout. We have no higher moral high ground over China with them manipulating their currency. What the fuck do you think quantitative, it's not qualitative easing, it's quantitative easing. Quantitative easing means you just kind of slip a shit ton of fucking American dollars into the economy. Quantitative easing. Easing makes it sound like just ease it, but quantitative makes it sound like $6 trillion, that is quantitative as fuck. So Lenin was certainly right. There is no subtler, no surer means of overturning the existing basis of society than to debauch the currency. The process engages all the hidden forces of economic law on the side of destruction and does it in a manner which not one man in a million is able to diagnose. John Maynard Keynes. John Maynard Keynes. We're all Keynesian now, right? Before it was just laissez-faire, free market economics, just, roll the dice and let's just see how this economy goes. And then John Maynard Keynes says, well, the government can stimulate the economy. They can kind of sort of shake it up a little bit, and that kind of, helps things out. Wealth is largely a function of the wages we earn, and the wages we earn are predominantly a function of the growth rate of the economy. Okay, so this whole thing is just about how to start a bank. But I need to tell you all those things first. Okay, so how to start a bank. It's actually quite simple. Very, very easy. Very, very easy. All you got to do is just go up to the bank starting clinic and just say, hey, can I start a bank? Fill out an application. Give them $5 application fee. And there you go. You got yourself a bank. Actually, a brand new bank is going to cost you about $12 million to $20 million, maybe $130 million in starting capital. May raise. You could try to raise it locally, but if you can't raise it locally, you're just going to have to get some rich fuckers, together. So you get $12 million bucks, right? However, maybe you might need to rob a bank. There's an old saying: if you give a man a gun, he could rob a bank, but give a man a bank, and he could rob the world. So if you're, a very intelligent thief, if you're looking to rob the world, if you're just looking to rob a bank, get a fucking gun. Shit. If you're looking to rob the world, though, get yourself a bank. And so get yourself, to get a bank, you got to start out with $12 million, right? Once you get your $12 million, then you got to get your, business plan. You apply to regulatory agencies, the state or federal. Then once they approve it, then you open up the bank. For a federal charter for a national bank, there's only 20 applications that are submitted. You only have 20 opponents, 20 banks, 20 applications. Very little competition, very few proposed banks. Just 10 new federally chartered banks had opened in the first 3 quarters of 2019. So for 75% of last year, 10 banks were opened that got a federal charter. Only 10. So it seems like if you're going to get a bank, do not apply for a federal bank, apply for a state bank. Because it seems like if there's very few, but then there's not much competition, I don't know, maybe you should do federal. You should apply for everything. So from the Federal Reserve's own website, it says, starting a bank, it involves an organizational process. It takes about a year, maybe more. You need permission from 2 regulatory agencies, extensive information about all the organizers. So you got to disclose all your finances. You got to, just extensive information. The business plan, senior, you got to, your income taxes. You got to, okay, so business plan, senior management team. You got to get your finances, capital adequacy, risk management infrastructure. You got to get some kind of risk management infrastructure. Other relevant factors also must be provided to their appropriate authorities. So they want you to do a lot of homework, but you get your $12 million. You get at least 2 regulatory agencies. You get a business plan. You get extensive info about the organizers of the bank, the senior management team. Get it organized finances. Get it organized capital adequacy, risk management infrastructure, and then whatever else they're asking. So you got to show that there's a demand. You got to get an understanding of all the relevant laws. Maybe get a lawyer or something. I don't know. Hire a public face. Get somebody who knows the ins and outs. That Jerome Powell. I don't know if Jerome Powell's doing anything, but I think he'd be a good face for your bank. So you apply for the charter at the state or the federal level, then you appoint a board of directors. So with your business plan, right, you got to apply. Once you get the application approved, well, then you can just go ahead and get the insurance and then just start the damn bank. But there's a lot of stuff that you have to do beforehand, and you're not even guaranteed that you'll get a bank. So you got to appoint a board of directors. That's 5 to 13 people. And they're going to oversee the strategic plan of the bank and make sure the employees comply with company policies and federal regulations. Board members shouldn't be directly involved with the bank. There shouldn't be any conflicts of interest. So board of directors shouldn't be involved with the bank. They're overseeing the strategic plan of the bank. So that seems ironic, but that is the best kind of board of directors, one that is just... They just want to make sure the bank operates well. They're not trying to, get their beak wet. They're not trying to dip their toe in the pool. So the proposed bank must get approval for a state or federal charter. The OCC, Office of the Comptroller of the Currency, that's the only thing in the federal or national government that can give a federal or national bank charter. Again, it's the OCC, the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency, while any state in D.C., Guam, Puerto Rico, Virgin Islands may issue a state charter. So all the states can issue a state charter, and the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency is what issues a federal charter for a bank. So before granting a charter, the OCC, the comptroller, the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency, or the state must be able to determine that the applicant for the bank has a reasonable chance for success and will operate in a safe and sound manner. Right? Just check your P's and Q's, cross your I's and dot your T's. Now, the proposed bank must obtain approval for deposit insurance from the FDIC, which, you can get your charter from the federal government, you get your charter from the state, but if you don't get your insurance from the FDIC, then, all bets are off, and you got to get the insurance after you get the charter, so it's not just a rubber stamp, so that's another hurdle. Once you get the bank, charter passed, state or federal, from the OCC, you know me. Additional approvals are required from the Federal Reserve if, at the formation, a company would control the new bank. So the new bank don't control itself, but a company, some fucking corporation, well, that's adding a bunch of bureaucracy and paperwork. Or a state chartered bank wants to become a member of the Federal Reserve. So that seems like get a state chartered bank first, get established. 38%, 2 out of 5 of all the banks in America are part of the Federal Reserve System. So the Fed, when people say the Fed, they're talking about the Fed chair and all the, politicians and the bank presidents and all that, but they're also talking about 2/5 of all the nation's banks. There's 9,000 banks in the nation, and then 2 out of 5 of those are part of the Federal Reserve, and 2 out of 5 is also part, how many people in Kentucky can't read, and, you think thus pronounced to he. Anyways, what I'm trying to say is that's how you start a bank. That's how you do it. You get a state chartered bank, and then you become a part of the Federal Reserve System. Simple. So it's just to do, one quick overview. First, you get your $12 million. You apply to, whatever this bank and that bank. Get a couple agencies to say, okay, we approve of you. Maybe the building code or something. Then, if approved, then you open the bank. There's only 20 applications that is submitted to the federal government for federally chartered banks. If you don't get a federally chartered bank, you get a state bank, right? It's easier just to get a state bank, bro. There's 50 states, right? That should be easy as shit. The fucking Fed. Look at all these regulations the Fed's put on. Jesus Christ. A business plan? Senior management team? Capital adequacy? What is that? Finances? What does any of that even mean? Risk management infrastructure? So you got to show that there's a demand, get a business plan, get the people together, get an understanding of the laws, hire maybe a public face. Seems like you have to get a board of directors, you have to get a team of people together. And 12 to 130 million, the new, some bank in New York, they opened up with 130 million, so I got 12 million bucks. Well, you need 118 million more. Oh shit! But I got 12 million. That maybe if you would have came yesterday, 12 million might have been worth something. But now that we're doing quantitative easing, 12 million ain't worth 12 fucking bucks. So, let's see, get the board, get it organized, biz plan, and I think risk management infrastructure, that shit is actually all, mandated, and they got capital adequacy, it's probably, the 12 million. Office of the Comptroller, go ahead and compliment them on their looks. They may get you a bank, whatever works, right? Maybe buy them all pizza, but, offer lunch. Little Caesars. Give them a nice Little Caesars pepperoni pizza. Hot and ready. Right? Boom. Pizza. They'd love it. It'd be perfect. And then you got a bank. So there you go. That's how you start a bank. Peace.